monkeys.
Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden, what if, whatever you want to call me. And I'm back. I am back with part 4 of What If Deku Was A Technopath. And as always, make sure to check the link in the description for my boy Saint. And then also, make sure to go check out the Discord. I have it down below as well. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste much of your time. I want to get into it as quick as possible. So let's get right into where we left off. Let's get it. Izuku is staring at Night Eye in shock. That Overhaul is the person he needs to be searching for. Yes, kid, I know. Well, can you do it? Yeah, I definitely can. It's gonna take me some time though. Can I get that time off from school, from whatever? Yeah, you can. This is more or less a work study, kid. You'll be alright as long as you keep up with your work. Alright, yeah, show me the support lab. Night Eye basically guides him to the support lab and shows him that anything here is at his disposal, and that if he needs anything else to let him know. So Izuku begins working, and he works for at least a week more, until the TV just turns on. Breaking news. This is currently happening in a city near you, so be careful when you go out your home. He is confused and looks at the TV, and what he sees something interesting, scary in fact. All Might fighting the villain by the name of All For One. Izuku watches on as the symbol of peace eventually wins, but in his deflated form, he raises his fist and says that it's now your turn. Izuku is confused, shocked, and surprised by all of this. Night Eye even walks in, and Izuku questions him, asking that wasn't he one of All Might's past sidekicks? Yeah, I was. And he's still the same old All Might. Fighting no matter what, fighting no matter the injury. Injury? Yeah, kid, injury. He probably wouldn't want me telling people this, but you are a pretty good support hero, so maybe you can do something about it in the future. He has a pretty bad injury, and that's all I'll really say about it. But that's why we're here now. I see. Well, every hero needs to fall one day. But if I can figure anything out, Night Eye, trust me, I'll do something about it. I know, kid. I know. How's it coming along? It's coming along. It's good. I should be good in at least one more week. Maybe sooner. It really depends. The goggles I'm making are pretty high-tech. More high-tech than most of the things I've ever made. I mean, I've made something a little bit more high-tech, but that is still in, like, beta stage. Got it. Let me know if you need anything, kid. Thanks. I appreciate it. Izuku continues to work. He continues crafting and more or less analyzing anything he possibly can, eventually and finally being done with these high-tech goggles. And he calls for Night Eye, and Mirio and Night Eye both come into the support lab, and he begins to explain. Okay, so here's how these goggles work. Really, they only work for me, so it's not something crazy. But they should enhance my Technopath powers, and I should be able to sense electronics and all of the above, really, around the certain locations you told me that they were. Now, I kind of need, well, your permission to do so. We're talking about a villain. We're talking about basically intruding on many electronics that maybe even be in people's homes. So if I can get your permission, since I don't have a license myself, I can go ahead and start searching for Overhaul. Yeah, of course, kid, you have my permission. Just be careful and don't get, in more trouble than you have to. Yeah, of course. I'm just looking at the locations that you said. The goggles activate and Izuku's basically shows up a massive hologram, a screen that he begins touching and searching everywhere he possibly can. He looks around, eventually finding a suspicious place. It seems like this could possibly be the place that Overhaul is keeping himself and his gang. He basically can sense the electronics underground, making him assume that they might be down there. During this time, Izuku begins pinpointing different areas until he sees Overhaul exit his home. Hey guys, I don't know if you're seeing this, but if you want to make a move on Overhaul, maybe it's a good time now. A little girl is then seen running away from the building and running into another alleyway. Seems like he has, well, some kid problems as well. Night Eye looks at the screen, seeing exactly what Izuku was talking about. There's a child running away from Overhaul, and it's like Overhaul is chasing her for some reason. She must be important if Overhaul, of all people, would want her back that badly. So Overhaul and Mirio say that they're gonna cut them off. They ask for the location, and Izuku tells them the exact location, and he can basically send it to them on their phones. They both nod and head out. Izuku watches on by the nearby electronics as Mirio and Night Eye arrive, just as the little girl is captured. Izuku begins watching on as their fight begins. He sees that Night Eye, obviously with his quirk, he can keep up very easily. He knew about Mirio's quirk, but it seems powerful, extremely powerful, far beyond anything he actually realized. He personally thought it would be, well, limited, but it seems that there's some strength multiplier added on top of it. Something like All Might. Izuku doesn't think too hard about it and continues watching, and wishes that he could help himself, but he really can't. But he then gets an idea. The fight is then pushed out into the street. Overhaul tells Eri to not move. Izuku sees this and thinks that this is his best chance. It might not work, it might get him caught, and it will damn well get him in trouble, but he doesn't care. If he can get the little girl out of there, that's all that matters in the first place. He puts on gloves, but no, they're his gauntlets. He puts on his boots that he used in the sports festival as well, and he jets off toward their location. Everybody doesn't see him though. He's high in the sky with an oxygen mask on, making sure that he doesn't pass out from the altitude. He crashes down, grabbing Eri, and bolts off once again. Overhaul sees this and tries to react, but Mirio clotheslines him into the ground and smirks. That kid, he's pretty fast. You know, he doesn't even have a quirk to fight, really. Overhaul says that he doesn't care, and that all he cares about is getting Eri back. Overhaul tries to shoot spikes at Izuku as he's jetting off, but Mirio again blocks it. No, your fight is with me, Overhaul. They begin fighting once again, and Mirio slowly but surely is getting the upper hand. With his advanced strength, for say, and his permeation quirk, he's able to overwhelm Overhaul. And with no help and no backup, Overhaul is defeated, arrested, and thrown into prison. Quickly, Night Eye and Mirio basically run back to the agency, telling Izuku that he did good and that they just won't, well, speak of what occurred to get Eri to the agency, and that they need to basically invade the villain base of the Shiha Hazaikai as quick as possible before reinforcements try to break him out. Izuku agrees and gives something to Night Eye, telling him that if he needs help to use this, but use it as a last resort because there is no guarantee that it will work. So Night Eye puts it in his pocket and runs off with tons of more heroes to invade the villain base. They do just that, and luckily Night Eye doesn't necessarily need the little piece of equipment that Izuku gave him. When they get back, he gives it back to Izuku, and Izuku looks at it, seeing that it wasn't used at all. Good, you didn't use it. See, this isn't perfected by any means, so it might have, twisted your body inside out. But that's beyond the point. He basically places it back on the table, and Night Eye and Mirio stare at him in confusion. Don't worry, it wasn't actually gonna twist your body inside out. It might have, maybe, there's like 25%, 30, maybe 45% chance it would have broken one of your limbs. But it would have been helpful. It really would have been helpful. Even with a broken limb, it would have been helpful. What was it? I wouldn't worry about that right now. Let me fix the kinks, and then we can talk about it. Night Eye is still confused, but just agrees and tells Izuku that he did a good job helping track down Overhaul, or well, tracking him down, frankly, because he did most of the work. And well, he can basically go get set up in UA because he heard that they actually moved into dorms. We moved into dorms? Damn, I haven't been outside in like 2 weeks. I didn't even know we moved into dorms. Yeah, so go ahead, you can get set up. Okay, sounds good, thanks. Izuku leaves and obviously gets ready, gets all his stuff from his home, and puts it into his dorm. Mei actually sees him and asks what he's been up to. Honestly, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. But, let's just say some villain hunting stuff? Yeah, that sounds about right. Izuku heads back to Night Eye's agency after getting set up, and Night Eye tells him that currently, well, they don't have anything else for him to do, so he can have some time off and head back to school and work on any other gadgets he wants to work on with the, equipment at UA. Because frankly, at UA, there are some very good equipment. So that's exactly what Izuku does. He just begins setting things up and doing all of that, making some adjustments to something he's been working on, finally thinking that he's actually done, until he hears a knock at the door of the support lab. Power Loader opens it. Oh, Aizawa. Well, what do you need? I need to talk to the Izuku kid. Oh, okay. Midoriya, come here. Coming. Izuku walks over and is confused why Aizawa is even there, but begins talking to him. What do you need, sensei? Pretty simple. I have someone, well, that needs a little device. Basically to help his quirk. Do you think you could do that? Yeah, for sure I could do that. Who do you have in mind? Someone walks in from behind him and begins talking as well. Me. Oh, Hitoshi Shinso, right? Yeah, Izuku Midoriya, correct? Yeah, that's me. Sure, come in. We'll see what I can do. Hitoshi Shinso, who is part of the general studies, comes in, and Izuku begins chatting with him about his quirk, learning that he obviously has a brainwash quirk, and tries to figure out anything he can about the quirk. Okay, I see. So amplifiers would obviously help. Voice adjustment. Let's see. Voice copy. So if someone else talks, you can use their voice. Anything I'm missing, Mei? She responds that he knows a little bit more than she does, and that's all the ideas she had in mind. So it's up to him. You know what? I do have one more thing, Shinso. I do. What is it? Just wait. Izuku begins working, and well, over the next couple days, he begins working on this. After finishing, he gives Shinso a small earpiece. Okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to focus really, really hard. This is gonna take a lot of brain power here, Shinso. You need to talk in your mind, but I need you to focus on only me. Only me. Not the person around you, not anything. Not any TVs, nothing. Don't worry, I'm pretty good at that. I ignore everybody. Fair enough. Go ahead. Izuku then hears Shinso's voice in his head, and he talks to Shinso's voice while in his head, and he falls under the quirk. No way. Did I just do that telepathically? Izuku doesn't say anything. Oh, I forgot. Shinso slaps him, Ow! Okay, that was a little hard. But yeah, telepathically. It's some Neuralink that I learned how to use a little while back, but it's kind of complicated. So that's very beta version of it. Ideally, I want to get it to the point where you can hear the other person's voice instead. So it's like you're hearing your own thoughts. Whoa, seriously? You can do that? Hypothetically, yes. I mean, everything is a theory, right? I'm not sure for as 100% like a statement of fact. I don't know. But if it can work, it would definitely take your quirk to the next level, that's for sure. You kidding me? This is good enough right now, but that would be insane. Agreed. I can keep working. How much time do you have? And what is this even for? I'm gonna be trying out, I assume, for the hero course. They're gonna be doing a little class 1A versus class 1B combat training. Oh, yeah, I heard about that. When is that again? It's in a couple days. Perfect. It should be done in a couple days. Shinso smiles and thanks Izuku as he leaves. Yup, no problem. Izuku begins working until he feels that he has it done. Finally, he has it done. He has Mei mess with the verbal version of it and basically helps him more or less do everything but the telepathic version or the Neuralink version. And he basically says that he's finally done after 2 days and thanks her. Well, I didn't really do anything. No, you definitely helped me. I appreciate it. He takes the earpiece once again and also the mask that Shinso has to basically voice modify himself. He brings it to Shinso the day of. Actually, right when Aizawa and him are walking out of the classroom. There you are. Yeah, I have the gadget for you, Shinso. Really? You did that quickly, kid. Oh, Shinso told you about it. Yeah, I had some help with it, so it came out pretty quickly. Impressive. Thanks Midori, I appreciate it. Shinso puts it in his ear and puts the mask on. Okay, let's test it out. Shinso uses his voice to basically talk in Izuku's voice in his head. Shinso is stunned by this, and Izuku falls under the quirk once again. This time Shinso slightly pinches him and he wakes up. Thanks for not slapping me. I appreciate that. I had a handprint on my face, Shinso, for 3 days. Sorry about that. No, yeah, it's fine. I'm messing around, obviously. But, yeah, it should work pretty fine. Pretty good. Make sure that you get them to talk first. I mean, I'm sure you won't have a problem with that. But make sure to keep that in mind when you're, well, fighting. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. So, kid, since we're off to do the Class 1A versus Class 1B, do you mind, well, joining us? Oh, to watch? Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to watch. No, kid. I want you to join. See what you got. Actually, I think I'll take you up on that. I have a little gadget I want to test out. But, just so you know, I'm not here to be a standard hero. I chose this because I wanted to be a support hero. I see. But, you know, you could always do both. That is true. Yeah, I'll meet you out there. Let me go grab my item. You got it. Izuku runs back to the lab and grabs a sort of disc looking thing and puts it in his pocket. Mei asks what he's doing, and he basically tells her that Aizawa invited him to join their little combat training. Oh, cool. Have fun. Thanks. He runs off and meets them over there. And actually, Bakugo greets him. The hell you doing here, nerd? Hey, don't be like that, Kachan. Okay. Seriously, what are you doing here? I guess I'm joining you. Aizawa offered. So the damn nerd finally admits he wants to be a real hero. Hey, don't get too outlandish. Not quite. Aizawa then begins explaining everything that's going to happen. and he says that he decided last minute to change it up a bit. Here's what's gonna happen, everyone, and listen closely. Fights are going to go normally. Shinso and Midoriya will not be involved until the very end. This is what we're gonna do. Whoever wins the entire thing, so we're talking either Class 1A, which they are, or Class 1B, they will choose 4 people to go against Shinso and Midoriya. The class is confused though. They begin asking, what do you mean? And that it wouldn't be fair on a 4 versus 2. Yeah, I know it wouldn't be. That's why it would be Midoriya and Shinso and their choice of 2 people from whatever class that loses. The classes then understand, and Izuku and Shinso look at each other and kind of smirk. Yo, Kachan, you better win, cause I want to fight you. Hey, you have a death wish? Cause that's what it sounds like to me. They both smile, and the first fight of Class 1B versus Class 1A begins. And that is a wrap for part 4 of What If Deku Was A Technopath. The last part, pretty obviously, will just be that Class 1A versus Class 1B arc, and then it will be done. So next part might be like 10-15 minutes, we'll see, depending on how much I want to elaborate on those fights. But yeah, like I said, if y'all enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, sub, all that good stuff, and yeah, that's about it. Have an amazing day. Later.